Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll call the November 18th meeting of the Common Council to order. I will ask the clerk to call the roll to determine a quorum.
Alderperson Chaplesky. Here. Haas.
Here.
Lysick.
Here.
May.
Here.
Probst.
Here.
Reinke.
Here.
Rote.
Here.
Vitale.
Here.
Weigel.
Here.
Barsak.
Here.
10 present, unexcused.
We have a quorum. Alderman Chaplesky will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have 4 items up on under public hearings this evening. I will ask the clerk to read public hearing number 1.
A hearing on the improvement of the general area bounded by South 56th Street to South 70th Street, north city limits to West Burnham Street by miscellaneous replacement or repair of concrete sidewalk and driveways at selected locations.
Mr. Daniels.
Thank you, Mayor Devine. Okay. This is the public hearing for the 2015 sidewalk repair program. Here are the hearing procedures for tonight. First, I'll discuss the project scope and cost, and I'll discuss assessment rates and methods of payment, and then we'll have comments and questions from the Common Council and citizens affected, and then the public hearing will be closed and the project will be referred to the Public Works Committee for discussion and vote, and then later tonight it will come back to the full council for a final vote. Here are the project limits. It extends from 56th Street to 70th Street roughly, from the North Corporate limits to Burnham Street on the south. Here are examples of typical sidewalk defects, anything with a crack or settling or heaved slabs that would cause tripping or displacement. Anything that looks like this is what we're trying to fix. And this is the process, how the work would go. First, we remove the old slabs, we leave the good ones, then the new concrete is placed, and then we will come back later and put in sodding adjacent to the sidewalk and clean up the area. The reason we do this, broken, raised, and settled sidewalk slabs create hazards for pedestrians and other sidewalk users. So the property owners benefit from the enhancement of their property and neighborhood, and the city benefits by avoiding costly lawsuits due to injuries resulting from defective sidewalk conditions. So we had our inspectors go out and look at 1,800 properties, and they found 306 properties where the sidewalk needed repair. This sidewalk has not been inspected or repaired for 17 years, since 1997. The project will also include several sustainability benefits. The gravel used will be 100% recycled crushed concrete from old pavements instead of mining new gravel. The fly ash will be used from coal plants in the concrete instead of mining new cement. We'll save cement 30%, and then new asphalt will be made from 20 to 35% old recycled asphalt pavements to reduce the mining and drilling for new materials for that as well. A lot of the sidewalk problems probably are the result of trees, but eliminating the trees is not the solution. What we typically do is if we see any tree roots when we remove the slab, we carefully cut the tree roots to prevent any further heaving of the sidewalk. The sidewalk may also be narrowed at the tree location with like an arc to give the tree more room. We want to keep the trees because the trees do intercept the rainwater to help the runoff soak into the soil at a slower, more even rate. This takes pressure off of our storm sewers and allows for the renewal of the groundwater. Trees also provide a host of other benefits, such as improved air quality and reduced air temperatures in the summer and increased property values. The cost of the project will be $125,000 for all 300 properties that we're fixing. For over 100 years, city residents have historically paid the full cost of the sidewalk in front of their property in order to enjoy the unique benefit that this improvement gives to their individual property. On this project, the city will collect $36,000 in special assessments, which is actually only 29% of the actual cost to the city. The assessment rate is $2.73 per square foot of sidewalk, and all residential properties anywhere in the city, no matter how high the bid prices are, everyone pays that same $2.73 per square foot. Everyone is treated completely equally. And in some cases, we will be mudjacking slabs that have settled but are still in good condition. The mudjacking rate is $1.39 per square foot, which is about half of the new rate. Special assessments are the only way to ensure that tax-exempt schools, churches, charities, hospitals, county parks, utilities, and railroads pay their fair share too. No one is exempt from special assessments, even though there are 430 properties in the city that do not pay any property taxes at all. So many of these tax-exempt schools, churches, hospitals, and county parks are very large properties that only contribute to the city's costs through special assessments. Likewise, businesses, corporations, and manufacturers pay a higher assessment rate to ensure they contribute their fair share as well. Their assessment rate for the sidewalk varies from $3.42 to $4.10 per square foot for the sidewalk. The bills for this project will not be mailed out until March of 2016, so we're not actually planning to start this until March of 2015 after the snow melts, and then the bills would then come out a year after that. Payment options include a lump sum payment if your bill is less than $100, a 5-year installment plan if you're between $100 and $250, and a 10-year installment plan for any amounts over $250. So for a $250 bill over a 10-year period, assuming a 4% interest rate, the special assessment would range from $35 in the first year, which would be 2016, to $26 the 10th year in the year 2025. I wanted to point out with this map, this is a map of everyone who's paid a special assessment in the past 10 years or so. And you can see that everyone is paying their fair share. Most have already paid for their street or alley or sidewalk in front of their property over the past 10 years. So everyone is paying their fair share. Everyone is getting special assessments. And as far as the interest rate, the city borrows the funds for this project. So the city has to pay interest to these municipal bondholders over the next 10 years. So the city passes along these interest charges to residents that choose the 5 or 10-year payment plan. The city does not make a profit off of the interest charged. And that will be all. If there's any comments or questions, they will be heard now.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Are there questions or comments from the Common Council on this public hearing? Okay, seeing none, are there comments or questions from members of the audience on this item? If you'd like, if you could please come up to the microphone at the podium here and then sign in either before or after your comments. And if you could give us your name and address just for our record also.
Hi. My name is Karen Murray. I'm at 1629 South 65th Street. And we have a tree that is really uprooted and the sidewalk is really bad. And I'm wondering about the, in the next 5-10 years or whatever, when the next replacement comes, are we going to have to replace it again? I've been there 30 years and I've had my sidewalks replaced every time it came around.
Well, like I said, when we pull the slab off, and
But I don't want to save the tree.
Well,
but
right, we definitely want to save the tree too. So if there's a root right under that slab, we're going to cut it off if the city forester thinks that that wouldn't damage the tree or make the tree unstable. We do try to cut that root so that it won't happen again, while also still saving the tree. So hopefully it wouldn't happen again. So the plan is to not have this happen again and save the tree.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else in the audience have questions or comments on this item for public hearing? Okay, seeing none, we will close our first public hearing, and I will ask the clerk to read public hearing number 2.
A hearing on the resolution to amend certain activities of the fiscal year 2014, 2013, 2011, and 2007 annual plans of the Community Development Block Grant Program.
Mr. Schloss.
Members of the Common Council, and Mayor, tonight's public hearing is to fulfill a federal requirement. What we have are some outstanding programs that have some balances that are projected to be at the end of the year, and per federal regulations, we need to transfer that to another activity. In the past, we were able to have a contingency fund, and we can no longer do that. So tonight, we have some activities that have returned their funds as they have not met certain goals, etc. So the Senior Center Services, Fire Safety Education, and Community Service Officer. Some of this is also the fact that they transferred some money over from previous years to this year. And so this total here is $49,500. And then we also have some projects here. The 6 Points Farmers Market, this is from the purchase of the former Chalet property. This is money that we did not need to purchase it. We had it over budgeted. And then the Farmers Market parking lot by the Farmers Market, this is just to the south, money that's left over after the project was completed. And we're moving what was in 2013's contingency funds and Senior Center Improvements Activity, a project that has not gone forward based on time and bidding requirements. So this project, or these funds here, would be $65,575. The proposed amendment would transfer these funds, $115,000 and change total, to the handicap accessibility improvements for City Hall. This is also to meet ADA requirements throughout various police department and City Hall departments. I'll gladly answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments from the alderman on this public hearing? Okay, seeing none, does anybody in the audience have questions or comments on this item? Very good. We will close public hearing number 2. And we will take public hearing number 3 and number 4 together this evening. So I will ask our clerk to read items 3 and 4.
A hearing on the special use permit for the placement of antenna and associated equipment on an existing tower located at 1745 through 1875 South 66th Street and 6607 through 6701 West Mitchell Street. And a hearing on the special use permit for the placement of antenna and associated equipment on the city water tower located at 11515 West Rogers Street.
Mr. Schloss.
Mayor and members of the council, in the ongoing world of technology, we have been approached by these cellular companies to put in new antennas in various locations where they're already existing. The law has changed. Right now, we're bringing it before you under the current law, but the law in the future will allow these to come to staff under, or be permitted with the necessary landscaping requirements. Here on this one, this is going on an existing tower located right there. And this ordinance would amend the state statutes like 66.04 for pending, like I just mentioned. And the proposal is by Sprint to install new antennas, 3 panel antennas with 3 new remote radio units, 120 foot high on the monopole that exists. The associated equipment will be at the ground level and screened as necessary. The zoning is permitted for this. This is the current location. This is just on the corner of Burnham and 66th Street. The Plan Commission has recommended approval on October 22nd. The Plan Commission recognizes the state statute and relative to mobile tower siting and co-allocation requirements, and to date we have received no objections. Regarding the water tower location on 116th and Rogers, this is the general location for that. We have current existing antennas that lease space on top of this tower. It is zoned properly for the ordinance and per state statutes. This proposal is by AT&T to install new antennas, six panel antennas and 6 new remote radio units on top of the 165-foot high tower. And there will be associated equipment on the ground level with the necessary screening. You can see the general location of that. The Plan Commission has reviewed the proposal and has recommended approval. Again, the Plan Commission recognizes the state statute, and we received no objections received to date.
Thank you very much, Mr. Schloss. Are there questions from the Common Council on items 3 or 4?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman May.
Patrick, what sorts of funds does the city receive for putting this on our equipment?
Do we
receive anything?
Well, the monotower is a private tower. The water tower, of course, is city-owned, and we do lease it, and we do receive a lease payment.
And I'm guessing Public Works would probably have that number for me.
Excuse me? Finance
Works
could
would
provide
have
you that number.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other questions from the Common Council? Seeing none, are there questions or comments from the audience on items 3 and 4? Or 4?
I'm just letting you know I'm here in case there's any questions.
Thank you. Seeing none, we will close public hearings 3 and 4. And we will move on to item E on your agenda. That's our citizen participation section. This is an opportunity for residents to address the council on matters of concern to them. We attempt to keep this portion of our meeting to around 30 minutes, and we ask that you keep your comments to approximately 5 minutes. Do we have anybody that wishes to address the council under citizen participation this evening?
Robert Brown, 2160 South 86th Street. I thought I was through with legal lawsuits against the city of West Allis and other things of that nature, but I received a letter today from the city attorney, which means unless somebody here listening to me tonight takes some actions, I'm going to have to refile some of the lawsuits I had going from the city before. Explain it just briefly here. Some of you might have read in the paper that I was involved with a man named Story Simon from the city of Chicago. He was sentenced some years ago, 15 years ago, for a murder he didn't commit. They let him go. They wrote a lot of stories in the newspapers. They did in Milwaukee, Jen Stingle, and naming dishonest city attorneys, county attorneys, attorney generals, police, so forth. They're in New York. Yesterday, we made a movie. I was down there 3-4 times making the movie with them. And getting to why I'm here today. After being charged with something for a protest, I did nothing wrong. I had a jury trial in the city of Milwaukee. I paid for appealing the case and a jury trial, and I won the case. The jury found me not guilty, and I repeat, not guilty. And in the meantime, the city of West Allis appealed it. I want to name the one attorney who I'm calling a liar and dishonest, Janet Murden. I had sued her, but after I filed the appeal, she wrote in the appeal that the judge gave misleading jury instructions and misinformation to the jury. Well, when we did the appeal, I didn't read the transcript very closely, and after it was done, they reversed the decision. And when we went to court, I filed a counter complaint against Janet Murden for $2,500, and they claimed I owed $615. She approached me in the court just before we went to trial and said to the judge, I have a deal for Mr. Brown. If he drops the lawsuit against myself, that's Janet Murden, the city of West Allis, we'll drop the $650 or $615 he claims that he owes the city. She has since, right at the trial, she sent me a letter. I have it in writing. The case was dropped. It's all done with. But what do I get today? Another surprise from the city attorney, Janet Murden. Some more misdeeds, let's call it unethical. She could be convicted of a Class E misdemeanor for this stuff that she's doing, and none of you are saying anything. Then you wonder why I have to sue you again, because this is what I'm forced to do. She sent me a letter that they're going to take it out of my income tax for the $615 that she agreed to drop, and the city of West Allis agreed to drop. She now says I own it, and I talked to her on the phone today. She claims because the municipal court where I originally appeared refunded me the $400 I paid for appealing the case for a circuit court jury trial. Okay, she is like the story we did in Chicago, and I'll be meeting with that movie producer in 2 weeks. I'm getting so sick and tired of this stuff going on. Remember the squirrel case where Janet Murden told, I won't mention names here, but an alderman not to appear after I served them with a summons and paid them. She told a private residence, you don't have to show up for the trial. Based upon what she claimed, you don't have to do. Now she's making new laws she can sign a written agreement to dismiss fees that she claims that were settled and now want to take it out of my income tax refunds, if any are coming. I'm not going to put up with this, and I'm telling you right now, you can expect a big lawsuit. I'm going to talk to this movie producer. We got Crooked City of Chicago. I have magazines at home. They've done one movie. It was showed, I told you, in New York. It's going to be brought up in California. I'm going to talk to this producer about doing some more here about the Crooked City in Milwaukee. And I might add West Ellis to it if something ain't done about this nonsense. How can you allow a city attorney, you know, when you sign your name under a notarized name and submit cases and briefs to the appellate court and lie, mislead the appellate court with untruthful statements,
Mr.
then
Brown,
make an agreement, I'll be right done, to drop the charges, and now she's going back on her word. I'm telling you right now, I'm tired of suing you guys, and I'd like to stop. I'm 79. I've had about enough. I hope you have enough to talk sense into her and not go back on her word when she makes an agreement. I'd really appreciate it. But if you want a lawsuit again, here we go. Another one will be coming against all of you, the city of West Ellis and Janet Burden, city attorney, and whoever else. So thank you for the time. I hate to keep complaining about stuff, but let's put a stop to acting like Chicago with crooked elected officials. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else wish to address the council under citizen participation this evening? Okay, seeing none, we will close citizen participation, and we will move on to item F on our agenda, which gives you the room numbers of our standing committees. They will be meeting during recess. The room numbers are located on page 2 on your agendas. Moving on to item G, the mayor's report this evening. Couple of things. I just want to remind everyone that, again, on Saturday, November 22nd, there is going to be a historical harvest fest by the Special Education PTA in the West Allis West Milwaukee School District. It is free admission, but they are accepting food donations for local food pantries. It goes from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m., and it is going to be located at Lane Intermediate School, the 1300 block of South 109. There are going to be crafters and vendors, activities for the kids, face painting, a historical photo studio, and a lot of historical characters roaming around too. So that's on Saturday, the 22nd of November. Last Friday, as some of you may know, we opened up the skate park at 84th and National and got it in just before the snow started flying. But I want to again thank Joel Quadracci and the Windover Foundation for their financial support. We could not have done that without their help. And I want to once again thank all those from staff involved in making this happen. I also want to give a shout out to Bart Griepentrog in that department, who was instrumental through the whole process of applying for grants and looking at specifications and rules, and just about every aspect Bart had his hands on in that. Since our last meeting, we celebrated Veterans Day, and I want to thank the Tanner Paul Post for hosting a celebration, or an event rather, I should say a commemoration more so, at the substation. And I know we had an event at Village at Manor Park too. We got to, Alderman Rote and I were there, we got to honor Jack Rissler, who was one of 7 men who, they were paratroopers. They jumped into southeastern France. He's the only one surviving. He's got a very fascinating story. I won't go through it all tonight, but if you want to Google him, there are several articles written about his story, R-I-S-L-E-R. He was actually born in Iowa, but he grew up and lived most of his life in West Allis, with the exception of the time he served. Monday, I had another meeting of coffee with the mayor, and I was joined by County Executive Chris Abley, as well as County Supervisor John Weishon. I just want to thank them for showing up and talking about county issues. We covered quite a myriad of topics over that hour. And last thing, on our agenda tonight, we have another, I guess installation would be, lack of a better word, for our Neighborhood Associations program. I have been working on this over the last couple of years with Patrick Schloss, and looking at what other communities had done, trying to get this off the ground. And it was unveiled earlier this year, and we currently have 3 underway, with a few more in the works and getting started in the next year. And these are really a great way to strengthen your community, to get involved in your neighborhood, and really make, I think, neighborhoods what they used to be years ago, when all the neighbors knew one another, and you really had a neighborhood vibe on your block and beyond. There is information, if you're interested in starting one of these, on the city website, or you could call me. We can get you the brochures. I think it's something that I would encourage people to consider, so we can really bring that sense of community back to all the neighborhoods in the city of West Allis. That concludes the mayor's report this evening. Do we have any alderpersons' reports?
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Weigel.
I just want to quickly remind everybody, I think the chill in the air has given us fair warning that Christmas is just around the corner, and the Christmas parade, of course, is just around the corner. Saturday, December 6th, the parade will be here in the downtown area of West Allis. It actually starts earlier in the afternoon at 1:30 is Christmas on the Avenue, so there's events for the family, ice sculpting, kind of holiday spirit building kind of stuff. The parade, after the Christmas on the Avenue, and then ends here at City Hall, where we have the Christmas tree lighting in the courtyard, and we'll be singing Christmas carols. And then the parade steps off at about 4:45 over at State Fair Park and comes right through downtown. And of course, the last guy in the parade is always the big guy with the red suit and the red nose. So I'd like to invite everybody to come down again for Christmas on the Avenue and the Downtown Christmas Parade, Saturday, December 6th. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Weigel. Any other reports from the alderpersons this evening?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman May?
Last week I attended a career fair for Frank Lloyd Wright. This is my 3rd year going there. I've seem to get invited to the middle schools and high schools every year, and I got to present on engineering, and this is really special. And afterwards I had a parent contact me and say that their son was actually interested now in engineering, so maybe I convinced somebody. But really the commendation I want to give, and it goes with what Mayor Devine said with neighborhood associations, is the Rainbow Gardens Neighborhood Association, over the course of 5 weeks and 6 days, went from a group of 18 interested people to hosting an event, to hosting a neighborhood association meeting, to signing bylaws, to putting together a board of directors and officers. They've got their insurance, they've got their tax IDs, they've got their bank accounts. They put it all together within 6 weeks. They did an incredible job. We've got the president of our Rainbow Gardens Neighborhood Association here, Bill Sargent, there in the front row. Thank you for all you're doing over there. And I want to thank Alderman Barzak for joining in. He and I are both signatories on the bylaws as well. So we're really excited to be part of the Rainbow Gardens Neighborhood Association. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other alderpersons' reports?
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Reinke.
just a quick reminder, if you've entered the lobby, please notice that the Veterans Giving Tree is up, and pick a star and purchase a gift for a veteran in appreciation of all that he has done for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Reinke. Any other alderpersons' reports this evening?
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
I move for approval of the minutes of the Common Council regular meeting of November 3rd, 2014.
Second.
There is a motion with a second by Alderman May. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We'll look at item J. I'll ask for a motion to refer item, or I should say, place item 6 on file and refer item 7 to the city attorney.
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Probst,
Second.
second by Alderman Weigel. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Standing committee reports, Alderman Vitale.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I have item 8 and I left it on in item 9. The budget was introduced October 14, but the Administration and Finance met November 10 recommend for the approval of the Mr. Mayor budget. Mr. Mayor, I should move for approval.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderman Barzak. Is there any discussion?
Mayor Devine?
Point of
Alderman
information.
Chaplesky?
Point of information. Just so you know, it's as amended. It's a recommendation as amended. Thank you.
Item 15, I mean 8.
Eight.
Correct.
Okay.
Alderman Chaplesky.
The Administration Finance at the last meeting, they eliminated the funding for the Energy/Sustainability/Innovation Coordinator, and we moved it into another fund, but they never did eliminate the position. So what I'd like to do is to amend the budget to eliminate that position. I'd like to make that motion right now.
I'll second the amendment.
Okay, there's a motion with a second by Alderman Barzak. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I would like to ask, the reason of the amendment, is that just completely to put the position on the west side, or just,
Well, the funding has been eliminated, but the position is still there. I want to eliminate the position, but sitting there with no funding.
Okay. Any other discussion on that motion?
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick?
I just want to point out that it really means nothing because at any point during the year, someone can add a position back in anyway. So, you know, it's really a moot point whether it's there or not. There's no funding for it, but I'll go along and support the motion just for the sake of clarity in the budget.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Probst?
I was under the assumption that this was part of the direction our city was looking to move in for the future. So are we just undoing work that we seem to have just done? Knowing we can't fund it now or aren't funding it now, the position was something I thought we were striving towards. So if we get rid of it, are we not just undoing work we've just recently done?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman May?
The motion we made at our last meeting, Alderperson Probst, was to take the money from the position and
Correct.
place it into a separate fund. The idea being that that fund could be used to hire a consultant to help us do the same task, or it could be used to get our IT department moving on some efficiencies that we were already ready to go. We just need the staff and manpower to make it happen. So that is what we had voted on last
Oh,
time.
I am very well aware of what we voted on. My point
I wasn't finished.
was that, I apologize, I'm sorry, I thought you were done.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Finish.
My point being, I think this is just, like Alderman Lysick said, just cleaning up the budget for now. And if there's a decision to put it back in, we can do it at another time. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, the motion is to eliminate the said position. Seeing there's no more discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Chaplesky?
Aye.
Haas?
Aye.
Lysick?
Aye.
May?
Aye.
Probst?
Aye.
Ranky?
Aye.
Rote?
Aye.
Vitale?
aye.
Weigel?
Aye.
Barzak?
Aye.
10 in favor, none opposed.
Okay, motion carries.
That's all, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
I think we still have to
No, you
do the
still
budget,
have to
Vince.
vote on the budget.
That was on the amendment to eliminate. We got to do the budget as well.
Okay, item 8.
Yes, yes. So as amended, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Chaplesky?
Aye.
Haas?
Aye.
Lysick?
Aye.
May?
Aye.
Probst?
Aye.
Ranky?
Aye.
Rote? Vitale?
Aye,
Weigel?
Aye.
Barzak?
Aye.
10 in favor, none opposed.
Motion carries.
thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, we have
Mayor Devine?
President Lysick. 9 and
Did we vote on items 9 and 10?
Yeah, we did, I didn't mention 9 and 10. I got them right here, I just forgot to bring it forward.
Okay, they didn't think we did item 10.
Yeah, we have one more item, Chairman.
It shows there, it says that's 8 and 9, so that's,
All right.
Okay.
So, Mr. Mayor, we have a communication from Mayor Devine recommend the appointment of Rebecca Grill as a city West Allen city administrator. She was appointed last week. So, Mr. Mayor's, I move for approval.
Okay. There is a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Chapletsky. Aye. Haas.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
May.
Aye.
Probst.
Aye.
Reinke.
Aye.
Rote.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Barzak.
Aye.
10 in favor, none opposed.
Motion carries.
That's all, Mr. Mayor.
All right, there we go. Thank you.
Mayor Devine,
President Lysick.
I move that we stand in recess until conclusion of the committee meetings.
Second.
There is a motion and a second by Alderman Reinke. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are in recess.